Hello, students. How are you? Welcome back once again to your channel. And today we shall be doing the first poem from our class 11 syllabus, that is Abhishara Tryst. All right. Now, this is in your Rhapsody, okay? And this is on page 5, okay? Now, it is very important for you to go through the portion that is given in the box about the poet. All right. It is very important because you might get some questions in your MCQs from this portion as such. So, yes, Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore was a renowned Indian poet, short story writer, song composer, playwright, essayist, and painter who introduced new prose and verse forms and the use of colloquial language into Bengali literature, thereby freeing it from traditional models based on classical Sanskrit. So, primarily, Bengali language as such was composed of lot of jargon. Okay, it had lot of rules and regulation. It was not the kind of language, the written language was not the kind of language that was spoken of. Okay, so Rabindranath was the first person to introduce the colloquial form, that is the local dialect form, the informal tone, while Ryan into and introduced it into writing. All right. So he was highly influential in introducing Indian culture to the West and vice versa, and he is generally regarded as the most outstanding creative artist of early 20th century India. In 1913, he became the first non European to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature for his collection of poems called Gitanjali. You know what the best part about Rabindranath is? That is what I feel actually. He is the only author, probably, who understands you like no one does. You're happy, you pick up any song or poem of Rabindranath and read it, you will feel far further ecstatic. You're sad, you pick up any song of Rabindranath and listen to it in a dimly lit room. Okay, you will find peace. You're you're irritated, you're uncertain about how to go about a certain things, you read his works, you will get your answers. So this is Rabindranath. He understands you like no one does. And another very pertinent thing about Rabindranath is, what I feel is, he's the only author who will grow old with you. You pick up any text of Rabindranath, okay, you read it when you're 10 to 12-year old, you will get one meaning of it. You read the same text again when you are in your early 20s, okay, 21, 22, you will get another level of interpretation. When you are nearing your 60s, you read him again, the same text. It will be of another level of interpretation it will offer. And when you are in your senior age, you become a senior citizen, that time you reread it, a whole new dimension will come up. So that is Rabindranath. He will grow old with you. No other author, no other poet, no other dramatist will grow old with you the way Rabindranath does. All right, coming back to the poem, now we leave one paragraph and move on to the next paragraph. Abhisara, translated as the Tryst, was written in Bengali by Rabindranath in 1899. The year is very important, and appeared in a collection called Kotha o Kahini. This is also important, okay? Which was inspired by Rajendra Lal Mitro's masterpiece, Sanskrit Buddhist Literature of Nepal. These are the questions which you could expect in your MCQs. Okay. Sanskrit Buddhist literature of Nepal. The poems in this collection are tales of Buddhist, Sikh, Rajasthan, Marathi, and other non Bengali literary tradition. Tagore translated this poem into English for a collection of 86 translated poems called Fruit Gathering, brought out in 1916 by Macmillan. So, this forms a part of the anthology Fruit Gathering, which was brought out by Macmillan. This is a story poem based on Upagupta. So, the main character is Upagupta. Who was he? He was a Buddhist monk who lived in 300 BCE and was revered, that is, was respected by Emperor Ashoka. It demonstrates the values of love and compassion that may be found in unexpected persons under unusual circumstances. All right, let's see. Let us come to the text now. Abhisara, the tryst. So, Abhisara, the word Abhisara means meeting. Okay, so let's see what meeting is Rabindranath talking about. Upagupta, the disciple of Buddha, lay asleep in the dust by the city wall of Mathura. So, Upagupta, who was Upagupta? He was a disciple of Buddha, Lord Buddha, and he was lying asleep in the dust by the city wall of Mathura. So, in Mathura, there's a street just on the outskirts, probably the wall is there, and he's lying on the street, okay, in all out in the dust. Now notice he's a disciple of Buddha, so he is a monk who has given up on material comforts of the world. He is no way in need of these material comforts, and he's a spiritual individual. Thereby he's lying down in the dust on the street, and it is of no importance to him. Lamps were all out, doors were all shut, and stars were all hidden by the murky sky of August. So there was no light in the city. Lamps were all extinguished, the doors were all closed, and then there were stars in the sky, but the stars were all hidden. Why? Because the sky was murky, that is dark, extensively dark. Okay, probably it was the month of August, as they say. It was the month of August, and there could have been large clouds. So the sky was covered with dark clouds, as a result of which it seemed to be dark and murky. Whose feet were those, tinkling with anklets, touching his breast all of a sudden? He woke up startled, and the light from a woman's lamp fell on his forgiving eyes. So suddenly there was a tinkling of anklets. Anklets are those ornaments which these women wear on their feet. Okay. So probably this woman had come in, a woman had come in, and she was walking, and thus there was this sound produced, tinkling. Tinkling sound was produced, tinkling of anklet. Figure of speech is your onomatopoeia. Very good. It's your onomatopoeia. So, whose feet were those tinkling with the anklets, touching his breast all of a sudden? And as she was walking, there was this tinkling sound produced, and probably the woman did not notice that someone was lying on the ground. Of course, we do not expect anybody to lie down on the ground, no? So, suddenly she comes in and she places her feet on the man's chest, on Upagupta's chest. So Upagupta was fast asleep, and he was very startled. Oh my God, what something came and fell on my chest? What is it? And he woke up all of a startled. So you see, this directly brings us the image, the Hindu image of, Lord Shiva lying on the ground and Goddess Kali coming and stepping on her, and only to realize that she's committed something very, very wrong, and thus she lolls out her tongue out. So that very image comes up. Upagupta lying on the ground, and this woman comes in and steps on him. And then she realizes, oh my God, I've done something very, very wrong. He woke up startled, and light from a woman's lamp fell on his forgiving eyes. So this woman was carrying a light in her hand, but then because it was all dark, she was unable to understand that probably someone could lie down right in front. And also, so it was beyond her expectation that anybody would be lying on the ground like that. So she was carrying this light, and this light from her hand fell on the eyes of Upagupta. Okay, fell on the eyes of Upagupta, and in that light, what did she see? She saw that Upagupta has forgiving eyes, the kind of eyes, where there is lot of calm, where there is lot of peace, where there is lot of sanctity. All right. So you see, light from a woman's lamp fell on his forgiving eyes. Light from some other, from woman's lamp, this light is falling on the eyes of the saint or the monk, whatever you call it. So, this is an instance of transferred epithet. What is transferred epithet? When one quality of one thing is transferred into another, it is called a transferred epithet. Here, light from the woman's this thing lamp is being transferred to the eyes of Upagupta. That is why this becomes a transferred epithet. This is again a figure of speech. Alright. It was Vasavadatta, the dancing girl, starred with jewels, clouded with a pale blue mantle, drunk with the wine of her youth. So, who was this woman? This woman was Basavadatta, the dancing girl, a woman who probably practiced dance as a profession. And she was starred with jewels, that she was decked up, covered with a lot of jewelry, clouded with a pale blue mantle. Mantle is a loose fitting cloak kind of a cloth. Okay, and she was wearing this pale blue mantle, drunk with the wine of her youth. This is a metaphor. She was so proud of her beauty. Okay, as if it seemed she was too drunk with it. What happens when you drink too much of alcohol? You become drunk, right? In the same way, she was excessively proud of her beauty. Okay, and that is why she seemed to be drunk with the wine of her youth. So, this is a metaphor. She lowered her lamp and saw the young face, austerely beautiful. So it was exquisitely beautiful. When she lowered down the lamp and saw Upagupta's face, she realized that it is extensively beautiful, a man. Forgive me, young ascetic, said the woman. Graciously come to my house. The dusty earth is not a fit bed for you. So she asked for forgiveness and said, why are you lying on the ground, young man? You please come to my house, because you see, the dusty road is not the perfect place where you can sleep. The young ascetic answered, woman, go on your way. When the time is right, I'll come to you. So this monk, being the disciple of Buddha, he was very calm and humble to refuse the offer. But when he's refusing the offer, you see how humble he is. He says, when time is ripe, I will come to you. He's never too haughty or arrogant in his reply. He says, woman, you carry on with your work. You need not be bothered. But when the time is correct, I shall come to your house. Suddenly, the black night showed its teeth in a flash of lightning. The storm growled from the corner of the sky, and the woman trembled in fear. So you see the black knight showing its teeth. Again, you see your figure of speech here. What is the figure of speech here? Yes, please comment and let me know what is the figure of speech here. This is your little work in class 11 that I'm giving you. Suddenly, the black knight showed its teeth in a flash of lightning. This is a very common figure of speech. Tell me what figure of speech is it? I can give you the meaning, but the technical term you have to let me know in the comment section. So the knight suddenly started showing its teeth in a flash of lightning. It was pitch dark, no, absolutely. So when there was this streak of lightning, it seemed as if a monster or a ghost had bared out its fangs and claws and trying to devour things up. The storm growled from the corner of the sky, and the woman trembled in fear. So you see, if you have done your Macbeth Act 1, Scene 1, you know that thunder and lightning is suggestive of something evil is in the offering or something wrong is in the offering, right? Or that if not something wrong is in the offering, at least it is a nature's way of letting you know that something is going to happen. So you see, again here, nature is giving out symbol, and that is making the woman tremble in fear. All right. A year had not passed. So after this, few months passed. It was evening of a day in April in spring. So now it is the month of April. Previously it was the month of August. So it is 8 months hence. The branches of the wayside trees were full of blossom. It was the season of spring, so it was full of blossoms. Gay notes of a flute came floating in the warm air from afar. So, gay notes means happy notes. Happy notes, happy tunes of somebody playing the flute was floating in the air. The citizens had gone to the woods for the festival of flowers. So there was this local festival going on, probably, and people were going there. From the mid sky gazed the full moon on the shadows of the silent town. So it was a full moon night. Now compare and contradict with the previous image of nature that we had got. The black night showing its teeth in a flash of night lightning. The storm growled from the corner of the sky. Contradict this with the mid sky gazed with full moon on the shadows of the silent town. So, on one hand, we have an image of nature which is extremely destructive. On the other hand, we have the image of nature which is the preserver, which is the keeper. All right, so nature is presented both as the destroyer and the preserver here. That's the brilliance of Rabindranath. The young ascetic was walking in the lonely street. So again, this Upagupta was walking, while overhead the lapsic coils uttered from the mango branches their sleepless plaint. Plaint is sadness. So while Upagupta is walking, okay, there are these mango branch trees growing all along the road, and there are these coils. Coils are songbirds. Okay, it is somewhat common to your cuckoos. Okay, so your coils were singing, and what were they singing? They were singing of their sleepless plaint. They were lovesick extremely, and they were singing of their sleepless plaints. Upagupta passed through the city gates and stood at the base of the rampart. So he was waiting there. What woman lay at his feet in the shadow of the mango grove? Now he was walking and he was stopped all of a sudden. And he realized that somebody is lying right in front. Just see how the tables have turned. Previously, it was Upagupta who was lying down. It was a conscious decision to lie down there. And the woman had come in and stepped on him by mistake, of course. But now it is Upagupta. who is walking down the street and he comes across this woman lying on the ground. But, thing to note here, he did not step on her. Why this is important, I'll tell you. What woman lay at his feet in the shadow of the mango grove? Struck with black pestilence, her body spotted with sores of smallpox. She had been hurriedly driven away from the town to avoid her poisonous contagion. So, Upagupta looked down to find, what did he find? That there was this woman who was lying on the ground. This is the same woman, Vasavadatta. She was lying and her body was spotted with innumerable sores of smallpox. Her entire body was filled with blisters. All right. There were wounds and gashes were open and there were black marks also. Okay. Because she had got this poisonous disease called smallpox. Smallpox is not a menace today, but back then it was a great menace because that time there was no this thing medicine for it. Now we have the medicine for it. Previously it was not there and it was very contagious. It would spread very fast. So she was thrown out of the village. The ascetic sat by her side, took her head on his knees, and moistened her lips with water and smeared her body with balm. So the monk sat down on the ground. He took her head on his lap and provided her with water and balm. Balm, why? Because when you get smallpox, no, your entire body, the pains. At the same time, you get lot of itching problems in your entire body and you run high fever. So this man, Upagupta, gave her a balm. Who are you, merciful one? Asked the woman. And the woman was instantly relieved. And she says, when people are driving me out of the city, who are you who has come to you? And who are you who has come? And then you've taken me on your lap and have provided me with not only water, but also balm. The time at last has come to visit you, and I am here, Vasavadatta, replied the young ascetic. So he says, I am that same man, Upagupta Vasavadatta, who had told you, when the time is right, I shall come to you. See, now the time is right. That is why I have come to you to attend you. So, this is the poem, children. You see, what is the poem about? Why is this a part of your ISC syllabus? Those of us who have done in our junior classes a very pertinent and very popular poem by Rabindranath, Govinda's disciple, will remember that in Govinda's disciple, the guru and the young person, Raghunath's conversation brought out the idea of spiritualism versus materialism. Here, also in this poem, we get the idea of spiritualism versus materialism. This woman, Vasavadatta, when she was in the prime of her youth, she was extensively beautiful. Okay, and she would be wearing a lot of jewels to accompany her beauty, to enhance her beauty. So she was representative of this materialistic world, and that is why she considered it absolutely low to, sleep on the ground in the dust. And she calls out to this man, Upagupta, to come with her to her house and says that this street is not the place where one should sleep. But on the other hand, Upagupta is a man of spiritual this thing fervor, and Upagupta represents spiritualism. He has transcended far above materialistic comforts, and that is why he says, no, I'm comfortable here, but when the time is right, I shall come to you. So Upagupta, being a spiritual person, he could oversee, or he could see through the time. He could see the future. He knew that these ideas of materialism and materialistic comforts are not long lasting. Okay, they are temporary. It will soon go away. That is why when Vasavadatta falls sick and her beauty is gone due to those black marks, again the markers of materialistic comfort, she is immediately thrown away. Now, with all her beauty gone, jewels gone, house gone, what does she need? She needs peace, she needs comfort, she needs happiness. Okay? Most importantly, she needs the touch of a common man who could help her survive. She does not need gold, she does not need a house. These things will not make her, you know, get her back into life again. All she needs is human kindness and love and compassion. She does not need anyone's sympathy, but what she now needs is empathy. All right. So this Upagupta is representative of that spiritual man who is extremely compassionate, who is empathetic, and who is extremely loving. So he comes down to provide her with all the things she needs now. So while materialistic pleasure is temporary, spiritualism is permanent in nature. It is needed to survive ultimately in this world full of pomp and show. All right, children, I hope I could give a very, very simplistic explanation of the poem, which will make you, well acquainted with the first poem of your ISC syllabus, and it will help you also to score the maximum. If you have liked the explanation, please give me a like and subscribe to my channel so that I also get some kind of motivation and continue to help you. All right, thank you so much. We'll meet soon in the next video.